Good evening, everyone. This is Professor Chisholm, and this is the Week 3 overview for our GD 116 problem solving and idea generation. So this week, we are actually looking sort of at a whole new perspective here a little bit, and we are going to be looking at focus groups, okay? So we're going to look at what focus groups can do for us, okay? So you're going to be reading pages 26 through 37 in the graphic design thinking book, and then pages 18 through 25 in the graphic design process book. Okay, so the first thing is you're actually going to be doing interviewing. You're going to need to so the first assignment is going to be about interviewing, and then the second assignment is going to be about focus groups. Okay, so with this first assignment, you're going to click on this brand new website link right here. And it's going to take you to this page. And what you're going to do is we're going to use this Android right now. So this is the first Android logo, and this is the second Android. And it gives you a little bit of background information on this, okay? And it gives you, so whatever you decide to do, whatever you pick it. So it says pick any one redesign and interview a minimum of 3 people to get their thoughts on the redesign. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to find 3 people and say, okay, so this was the previous Android logo and this is the new one. You know, you could ask them, so you need to find out which one do they prefer. So find out, okay, which one they want to prefer. So you're going to interview at least a minimum of 3 people to get their thoughts on the redesign. So you're going to ask them, okay, so how do you like this new redesign? You know, ask a minimum of 5 questions. Post the questions and the responses along with an image of the logo redesign that was used. With this information, write a summary of the information you collected. Your summary should be a paragraph or 2 at most. You need to conduct the interviews in person, not via email or phone. Okay, so guys, so you're going to take, you're going to find 3 people. Well, first off, you're going to find your logo. Okay, so go to the site, find out what your logo is. So we're looking at the redesign of the Android. Now, would you show before and after? It's entirely up to you, but it all depends on what questions you're going to be asking them. So you need to come up with 5 questions. So you could say, what do you think? You know, because there's actually quite a bit of difference here. So they changed the font style. So you could say, is this a better, is it a better font? I think it reads a lot better because the other font, it looks like, I don't know what it looks like. I know it says Android, but still. But you could ask them. So you need to come up with 5 questions. And then you sort of need to summarize, essentially, how this was. After you collected it, what sort of information did you collect, and sort of summarize it. Okay, so that's your assignment 3.1. You need to respond to 2 of your peers on this also. You need to respond to what your peers have written. Now, for assignment 3.2, you are now going to be looking at a focus group, okay? And you're going to refer to page 31 of the graphic design thinking textbook. And the interviewing is on pages 26 and 27, by the way. So you're going to look at the focus groups, and it's going to pretty much, tell you sort of the steps that you need to do in order to do this. You have to, again, there's planning involved for both of these because you've got to plan your questions for both of them. In a focus group, you typically have someone who moderates it, right? And then typically, a lot of times, you'll have an assistant that also helps. You're going to, again, you need to find an environment that's comfortable for people. You need to be open-minded. You want as much participation as possible because if it's one-sided, then it's not a focus group, right? And you have to be neutral, essentially. You can't sort of take sides. You have to sort of listen to all sides so that you can because you're really trying to gather information. And this is a great tool. I mean, this is what they do. This is what big companies do. They create these focus groups, and I've done these before. It's quite the trip, to be involved in a focus group and the questions that they ask. And then you want to ask one question at a time, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to think about, you're going to figure out how you're going to figure out where to go for lunch, Focus in order to determine where lunch would be that day, okay? Now you got to say, okay, we're going to lunch. So what questions would you, how would you narrow it down? So you would narrow it down by, this may be mind mapping, and a concept map might help. I don't know. I find sometimes I just have to throw ideas on a piece of paper to help generate questions. You could ask, first off is style, right? Time, style of food. What else is important? So you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do there. Then what you're going to do is post your play within this forum. Be sure to have a moderator and a minimum of one other individual as the cast. Use the steps from page 31 in the Graphic Design Thinking to guide your play. So essentially you have all those steps that I just said. There are 7 steps, and essentially you need to sort of map that out. Post your play within this forum. So you're going to map out, plan your questions. So you're going to say, these are my questions that I would use. This is what we did, and you're going to sort of make this happen, and then see what the results are. Okay, all right, and then really just think about how this would help you in a project sense. Okay, so for both of these, how would this help if you're working with a client or you're trying to get ideas? How would this help? So that's just trying to show you there's other ways to tackle problems, right? So there's other avenues that you can look at beyond mind mapping and brainstorming and concept maps, right? So you want to see what options are available. And again, in the design method book, you are going to be looking at chapter 3, achieving order through systems. Okay, grids probably. I just got the book, so achieving order through systems. So that's what we're looking at. Okay, all right, guys. If you have any problems, if you have any questions, please let me know. Great job so far, guys. I got week 1 graded. I've been commenting on everybody's work this week too. We're moving into week 3 tomorrow. Again, have a productive week. Do great things. You know how to get a hold of me if you have any questions or concerns. All right, guys. Have a good evening. Bye.